Good morning. So I wanted to do another video about the HP Reverb G2. I've done a couple with it in Flight Simulator, and now I wanted to focus more that I've had some more time to play with it on the device itself and some of the games. This time, mostly going to focus on the games and the way things function. So I tried to kind of incorporate some of this introduction into some of the games, and just got a bit distracted in the middle of trying to play and all that. So I wanted to try to trim some of that out and put it here at the front end. So the next couple of videos, I'm just going to focus on the actual games that I'm playing. And in doing so, you'll see kind of how the headset, the controls, and everything responds. And this is not necessarily reflective of the game itself, but more focused on how this particular VR setup functions within those games. So the controllers here, I like them a lot. What I don't like after using them for a while is how big this ring is. I know it's needed to make sure that they have the lights and everything to cover the visibility of things. So you can see there's the lights. This is not their max brightness, but this is just the way it is. The reason I don't like the ring being so big is that in some of the games, especially power beats, when you're trying to move around and hit things to the music, or even in Zero Caliber, if you're trying to grab a mag off your chest while you're holding the gun, you clank them together a lot. And I can see that it's not bad, it's just some scuffs on the side of it already. And that's kind of my concern with that in any like this. If you have to get your hands close together, you're going to clank these things. And if you're not, because you're immersed, paying attention, you might smack them a little harder than you intended. I think I mentioned in one of the previous videos that when I was playing power beats, I was doing that and I accidentally brought my hands together too fast, thinking I was distant enough not to do anything, and smack. And one of them kind of tripped out, and since then has been a little more jittery. So I don't know if I damaged it specifically or if it's just the way it's been since then. The other problem specific to the HP Reverb G2, as I showed it in one of the earlier videos, that there's no cameras on the bottom side of it. So let me get it out of the packaging here. I still keep it basically wrapped up in the box like new. There we go. So the cameras are only here on the front and then on either side. And sorry about the windows, I can't do anything about it for focus, but there's no cameras on the bottom. They compensate by having these angled a little bit down to try and catch it, so you can pull these kind of close up front to you about like that. If this was how you are, you can get away with it about here. But there's a number of games, specifically Zero Caliber and even Power Beats and Ping Pong, where your hand comes up under your chest enough. So if you're trying to grab a mag off your vest in Zero Caliber, yeah, you don't necessarily have to look down to grab the mag and pull it off, but it helps with the tracking. So you kind of are forced to look down and grab it, because if you don't go far enough, you'll grab a grenade off the upper part of your chest, and if you go too far, you'll grab one of your other guns, and it just kind of can become a problem. But if you get used to it, you can put it down far enough, grab the mag, and come back up without looking down. The way it does this is the accelerometers that are in here continue to track the motion. So when the headset loses it, it takes the motion to kind of project where it should be. If you stop moving or your movements get way too elaborate, it will lose it in space, and suddenly your hand will go way off over there. And you'll see this a little bit in some of the games where suddenly it stops responding or the hand goes kind of crazy. To recover from this, you just simply move the hand out into the visibility range of the cameras. I've found where both cameras can grab it to be the best, and you just twirl it a little bit and it'll suddenly pick up, and suddenly your hand will snap right back to where it is and you can get back to doing whatever you were doing. It's a bit annoying, but it's not a showstopper. Again, if you're looking for the best tracking, you're going to want to go with the index. If you want okay tracking, this is fine. The headset, for me, is what makes up for it, because the image is just gorgeous. So after I do these gaming videos, I'll try to set up a camera and do kind of through the lenses with my GoPro or my cell phone or whatever gives me the best options to look through it, because it does look amazing. The issue with Flight Simulator from the video that just went up really kind of kills some of that aspects of it, and I'm hoping to figure that out, or they patch it back to playability. But overall, the last session I did when I did all these games, because I kind of did them sequentially in one night, I didn't play every game I have, I just played the ones that I most commonly am in. I wore the headset for about 90 minutes to 2 hours, and I had no issues keeping it on my head. I felt the weight, it is really lightweight, but I felt it a little bit on the front. But once you have everything balanced out, the pressure's kind of equalized, so I have it fairly tight on the back, but it's not annoyingly so. The pad on the front is nice. It works really well. However, when you're playing something like, I'm sure, Beat Saber or Power Beats or anything that you really get moving in and you build up a little bit of sweat, because this headset is pressed against your face so tightly, it's going to create the heat right there more than anything else. And then because there's not a lot of room inside for the air to escape or to cool, the inside portion starts to heat up as well. It didn't get annoying, it wasn't a problem, but it did mean that this pad on the front got kind of saturated with sweat pretty quickly. Before I put it away, I took it off and set it on top of my computer where my radiator vents out, and I kind of let that evaporate some of the heat and cool it back down so that it wasn't quite so nasty when I put it away, and that seemed to help. I did go to the site that I bought it from, and unfortunately they don't offer any accessories at the moment. I was hoping to buy, or at least see about buying, another faceplate so that if I'm going to do something active such as Power Beats or eventually Beat Saber when it goes on sale, I could stick the kind of nasty faceplate on so I wouldn't ruin my other one, and then if I'm just using my other one I could play something else. Likewise, I wanted to see what the controllers would cost buying them separately in case I did actually damage one. I could just resync it up, but I didn't see that option out there. So something I will eventually ask about or look into a little more, but right now I was just curious what was available for it and didn't see anything. Sound through these speakers is still really phenomenal. Again, the up and down motion that I complained about, I really don't like because it's so it doesn't flow as fluidly as moving them up and down like this. Kind of hard to see. The rotation of this is really good. It's stiff, it's smooth, they lock into place. But the up and downward motion, right now this way, is just on a slider, and it's either sticky where it's good or it jumps and moves around where it's been sitting. So unfortunately, that's something I don't like. But the quality out of those speakers is really good. It's very immersive and it sounds great. Even the microphone on it sounds pretty good. So you'll hear me talking through the game on the microphone. It's a little louder, it's a little more clippy, but it still sounds pretty good considering it's just a little mic built in under the eyepieces. So with that said, let's jump in. I'm going to play the ping pong, a Silver Surfer type game, and then I do some Zero Caliber and a little bit of Power Beats. Power Beats, we're going to see what happens. I don't know if I'm going to get a copyright claim on it due to the music, but we'll see. Hopefully I don't have to cut all the music out of the game so you can hear it. I may just drop it very quietly, but we'll see. All right, let's jump in and see how the games perform, and of the main games that I play currently, what it looks like. That's my ball. That's not a problem. My Steam menu. One of these was supposed to reset the table. Let me find out where I am in my room. Okay, there's my cable. Get that out of my way. I'm still standing on it. Dagnabbit. Alright, this should be good enough for the moment. So, this is the tennis game. It's not bad. You can see you got the ball there. Once you get it kind of dialed in, the paddles are actually not bad for your hand. And you can do some spins. I'm kind of terrible at it right now. But in this style of game, there's really not that much of an issue with tracking. As you can see, now I'm much better at table tennis in real life than I am at this. Oh, that was terrible. Ooh, gotcha. Oh, got me self. Dagnabbit. Golly. There's times where my wrist rotation is kind of off. But this is a really good representation. The ball physics are really good. The sounds are fantastic. You can really tweak the paddle to kind of customize it for your desires and how hard the ball bounces off the paddle. Resistance and things like that you can set up. Now, a backspin like that is what I'm usually better at doing in real table tennis, and it'll slice it well. If you tag it, you can get it to spin out like that. Can't seem to get the other direction to do it. Backspin I'm not very good at. Oh, my hand got lost. So you can see there's some rotation. I don't know if that's a battery issue because it doesn't seem to be responding the same. There's a bit of haptic feedback on it. Maybe that's why I'm having problems. Batteries off, or maybe it's just not responding very well compared to this left hand. But overall, this is a really good game. It's pretty fun in multiplayer. I've only really played it with my nephew. Not one I'd really want to go chat with some strangers and play this in. But hey, it's a lot of fun to come in here, bat the ball around. You can set the AI difficulty modes to step it up. Right now, I can play hard a little bit, but I'm really terrible at it. And kind of the volleys are what I find a little more fun, to just kind of come in here and hit the ball gently. You don't have to go crazy. Practice stuff in this mode, like my spins. Hey, that one kind of worked. That was just non-existent and terrible. Backspin, backspin, forward spin. Not even close. But it's a good game, so this is definitely a good one that I recommend playing. You can kind of get an idea for the feel of the way it works. Let's go back to my library. Okay, so that was the ping pong game. Really fun game. Solo, not a lot to show. It's very simplistic, but the animations, the physics of the game are really well done. It's a very good representation of playing ping pong, especially in VR. So I really like that game. It's fun to play with a friend if you have somebody that you can jump in and play it with. Now this video is a little shorter because I did the intro, then the Pong game, and now this outro. So the next game, I'm not going to do anything fancy with. I'm just going to jump in and say part 2, part 3, part 4, and that should be the end of this little series. So we'll see you next time for the next game.